It's time for Coffee with the Chicken Ladies, a podcast for people who love chickens.
Hey everybody, and welcome. It's Chrisie&Holly from Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. We're here, and this is episode number 216 of our podcast, where we talk about everything chicken, family, fun, and
more chickens.
More chickens. We drink a ton of coffee. I'm talking a ton. But most importantly,
we hug chickens every day.
And we kiss them too. Don't forget. We brew coffee from a little coffee roaster in Houston, Texas. Bright and early coffee. Holly, and what kind of coffee are we brewing today?
Texas cinnamon.
Because we just love that Texas cinnamon and Texas. Yeah, we do. So if you're not drinking Texas cinnamon, you are missing out. This coffee is delicious. And where should everybody go to find it?
brightenearlycoffee.com.
And follow them on Instagram. If you like K-Cups, go over to Amazon. Are you ready to sip some of this delicious Texas cinnamon coffee and chat?
I am. But first, a word from our sponsor.
We have some exciting news to share from our sponsor, Grubly Farms. They're here, new and improved, Grubly's World Harvest.
I'm a longtime subscriber, and my flock love the healthy, nutritious treats, plus orders $40 and more ship free.
If you haven't heard, Grubly's has a fantastic layer pellet and crumble feed. It's packed with plant and insect protein, perfect for those picky chickens and ducks.
Grubly Farms makes food and treats for healthy pets and planet.
To support us and Grubly Farms, use the link grubly.co/coffee. Try it today. Okay, it's cold, baby. It's cold outside.
It's wrong. It is wrong.
It's so cold outside that everything is frozen. I feel like we're in the movie Frozen.
Well, it hasn't been getting above freezing during the day. And
No.
like my bantams won't even come out of the coop.
It is wind chills of like 5 degrees.
Don't
in the
tell
morning.
me. I'll start to have like PTSD from cold if you tell me the actual numbers.
It's bad. So I have 20-some chickens in pop-ups living in the garage with their panel heaters in each pop-up. And just so that everybody knows, my garage is not heated. So it's still cold out there. It's at least probably about in the 30s, a little bit above freezing. That's it.
Yeah.
And man, they're just like, can the snow melt so we can go back outside? Because I don't want their feet. I don't want them sitting, laying in snow. It's just too cold.
Well, I mean, our birds are not used to temperatures like this. And that's where they can get frostbite from being out in temperatures that low. I mean, according to Gail Damerow, anything sustained under 25 degrees Fahrenheit can cause frostbite and even in certain cases, death. It's not worth the risk.
Especially little man. He is not used to being out there in the cold, in the elements.
Polish are not super cold hardy anyway.
No.
And they've got that V-comb, right?
Oh, yeah.
And it's just sticking out there in midair with nothing to keep it warm. That V-comb will freeze and fall off in the right conditions.
Oh, we can't have that.
No, His Majesty, no.
He's been snuggling up a storm and just looking at how pretty the snow is out there. But yeah, I'm ready for I would be good with like 42 degrees, something like that.
42 sounds amazing. Oh my God, I would have a party if it were 42 degrees. I just want spring. That's all I can say. I want spring.
Spring and fall. If we could have those two seasons all year long, we would be perfect.
I mean, 35, I'd be ready for a party. Just above freezing, please.
Even right now, like 36 degrees is sounding pretty good to me.
That sounds good.
It sounds like balmy at this point. I'm like, come on. I know we sound like we're complaining, but it does.
Oh, I'm complaining. I'm complaining.
When you have animals that live in the extremes outside, it does make your life different and harder. You have to make provisions for you, for them, for everything. So we're all just cozying it up and getting through. That's it.
Pete gave me one of the best birthday gifts ever. The random orbital sander that he gave me will be hard to top, but he gave me a set of heavyweight merino base layers.
Oh, yeah.
Leggings. I'm living in these things. They're
saving
me from misery.
I got the wool sweater with the turtleneck on today because
you're very
cold.
90s. Look at you.
I am. So, on that note, if you're listening to our show and you're loving it, head on over to Apple Podcast and leave us a written review. It does amazing things for the growth of our show. And while you're there, hit that subscribe button because they count them and you never want to miss an episode.
If you're looking for other ways to help support the podcast, you can tell a few chicken, goose, or duck-loving friends about us. You can share your favorite episodes on social media. You can become a patron of the show, patreon.com/coffeewiththechickenladies. The other thing you can do to help support us, visit our website and our show notes, use our affiliate links and discount codes, and buy products from our sponsors.
Yay!
So, winter is coming.
It's better when Sean Bean says it.
Can you stay on topic for just a minute?
What topic?
Winter. Well, chickens, obviously. And igloo coops from Omelette.
Oh, yeah. You got to have an igloo for winter.
If you don't know igloos, they're engineered for extremes. Double insulated, waterproof, and stormproof.
They keep out any weather and all predators.
And you can just wipe them clean.
My girls and little man are so comfy in their Igloo Pro.
Mine too. Warm and dry all year round.
Winter is coming.
Be ready with an igloo.
Search Omelette. That's OMLET.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah.
Do you like monthly subscriptions?
Does it have anything to do with chickens?
Of course.
Then yeah. Let us take a minute to tell you about Chicken Love.
You get a monthly Chicken Lady tea, treats for your flock, and a keeper care card.
And did you know with every multi-month subscription, you get a free Chicken Love logo t-shirt?
Really?
Yeah.
It's $36 a month with free shipping.
What are you waiting for? Get off the nest and click already. That's chickenlove.com. That's chickenluv.com. Get your subscription today.
The Breed Spotlight is brought to you by Murray McMurray Hatchery, defining quality for generations. For over a century, Murray McMurray Hatchery has remained a trusted family-owned business, working tirelessly to ensure our poultry meet the highest standards.
Whether you are an experienced enthusiast or just embarking on the journey, look to McMurray Hatchery for guaranteed quality, rare and heritage breeds, low minimums, and all the supplies you need to raise your flock. Request a free catalog today. It's a quack quack here and a quack quack there. A quack quack here and a quack quack everywhere. It's time for the Breed Spotlight, yeah!
Yeah.
Yeah.
My favorite Breed Spotlight songs are the ones where you quack.
A quack quack quack. Now, this week's Breed Spotlight is...
the domestic Mallard Duck.
Or just the Mallard Duck. That's wild, man.
No, it's not. They're very different. They're very different.
They're wild.
No.
Okay. So, I mean, we grew up with the visiting Mallard ducks every day.
Right.
But they do look the same.
Similar. There are some differences. The beautiful Mallard duck is the foundation breed from which almost all domestic ducks have ascended, the Muscovy being the only exception to this.
Yeah, the Muscovy's in a class all their own.
They are. Yeah, they're very, very different. Varieties of wild mallards have existed in most areas of the world for a very long time. We only learned that recently, that there are mallards like all around the world. Scientists believe that mallards became domesticated in one big event in China or Southeast Asia, somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 years ago.
It's a long time ago.
It's a big range. I think they're just not sure how far it goes back. I mean, geese, for example, were domesticated about 7,000 years ago.
So the geese have been around longer?
Maybe. I think scientists aren't clear on this yet. And
we need one that's like 6,000 years old to tell us.
Yes. I feel 6,000 years old right now. but I can't answer the question.
Do you feel 67?
Yes, it's a good age. For this Breed Spotlight, we're focusing on the domestic mallard and not the wild mallard.
I like the wild mallard, though.
The wild mallard is beautiful. We love them. But the wild mallard and the domestic mallard actually have different DNA.
Oh, come on.
I'm not making it up, man. They do. Now, the wild mallard is protected under the 1918 Migratory Bird Treaty Act, and it is illegal to own or sell a wild mallard.
Oh, you know what, though? There have been so many mallards. Oh, I remember one when I first got married that lived under my deck like all winter.
Mhm.
And I set her up like a nest I used to take a trick that we used in our animal hospitals long ago as a tech is to take rice and put it in nylon stockings.
What does that do?
You warm it in the microwave and it stays warm.
That. Mhm.
Now, if it weren't fear of chickens eating it and getting sick, I would do it for chickens, but you can't do it because they'll peck through the stuff and eat it.
They'll eat the nylon and the rice.
Right, exactly. Yeah. But for any other small animal, you take rice and you can heat it in the microwave in nylon and it stays warm for hours. So I remember making this little mallard kept coming up to the back of the house. You know how I had the high deck in the townhouse and underneath? Right. We set her up the most cozy. I mean, and it was cold. She would come every night with a bed, heaters in there for her. She ended up laying an egg or two.
Oh, well, the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service actually lays out a bunch of regulations for dealing with wild mallards.
Oh boy, did I break some laws with that?
No, actually you didn't. Because if they show up, like you can feed them, you can let them nest. You can't wreck a nest if they have one.
Right.
You can't get rid of a nest if it has eggs in it.
I would never do that ever, man.
Of course not. Like you said, we grew up with them. A lot of people think they're commonplace, but if you look at them, like really look at them, their colors and everything, they're beautiful ducks.
I mean, the mallard, the drake is definitely more beautiful, but they got the green sheen. They are beautiful ducks. And their personality, even the wild ones, they learn the behaviors and they do the things.
We're going to talk about some of their behaviors in a little bit here, but I love the female mallard with her laced feathers. I think that they're beautiful too. So domestic mallards now. Domestic mallards are what you can purchase as ducklings from hatcheries. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service requires domestic mallards to be marked in some way. A tattoo, a toe punch. A lot of hatcheries will remove a digital piece on a back toe.
You learn something new every day. I did not know this.
I think this is because this is something like TNR where they tip a cat's ear.
Yeah.
Because if they get into a wild population, they can be identified as a domestic mallard. Now, the mallard is considered a bantam duck.
Now, who is in charge of doing this? Who has
the hatchery?
Okay.
The hatchery does it, yeah.
Okay.
The domestic mallard is considered a bantam duck. And while they've been shown pretty much from the inception of poultry shows, they were not accepted into the American Poultry Association Standard of Perfection until 1961 for the gray, and that's the wild color.
Right.
And 1987 for the snowy.
That's crazy to me.
I know, we were in high school.
Yeah, that's crazy.
With big hair.
I could have showed a wild one and tried to pass her off.
They do have some slightly different conformation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Apologies in advance if you can hear my dog whining.
Due to the really bad weather, we are recording on Zoom because we can't leave our homes. Holly can't leave hers to come to the studio, which is at mine.
And my extraordinarily spoiled dogs are making their presence known. Now, you were talking about encountering wild mallards that really were very used to people.
Right.
So one of the things that has happened is that these domestic mallards, for various reasons, have made their way into wild mallard populations. One of the biggest culprits, now this isn't, I mean, there are probably individuals who get mallards, at Easter and they release them into the wild. Some people get them fully knowing they're going to fly away and come back.
You hear a lot of people that get them and they're like, they're going to leave.
Right.
They think that instantly.
And what happens is that those birds interbreed with wild mallards. So there are some effects. I found a bunch of studies starting in the 1970s and going up through the 2020s. It's estimated that domestic mallards who have interbred with wild mallards, sometimes these hybrids have half the genetic material of a wild mallard. Half.
Okay. Yeah.
Fully half.
Yeah.
One of the biggest culprits for this. So mallards are sometimes purchased, and they may be bred here as well, but game farms.
Yeah.
So people will buy large numbers or breed large numbers of domestic mallards
for hunting purposes.
It's canned hunting.
It's horrible.
Right. It's not like you're a duck hunter out in the marsh. You go to these places where there's going to be game and you can shoot it.
I just can't even.
Well, part of the problem there is they use such large numbers of mallards that a lot of them will get loose.
Yeah.
Recent studies have been looking at feral mallard colonies that are in Hawaii and I think New Zealand. Now, here's the interesting thing. So obviously they're hybrids, they're genetics, etc. But these, I guess they're second generation birds or third generation birds in these colonies.
Okay.
They have gone off on their own and they're no longer staying with the wild mallards. And they tend to fare best in populated areas full of humans.
So you're saying there's the domesticated, the wild, and then the third, which is the mix.
Right. And the mix does much better when it's around humans. They just instinctively trust humans.
Well, I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Definitely.
It's really interesting. There's a lot of studies on it. And unfortunately, I didn't have hours and hours to read through every one. I just had to go through summaries of them. There's not a ton of history about the domestic mallard in the US or elsewhere that's been written.
Right.
So again, if I had a lot of time, I could probably go through like old poultry journals, show bulletins, that sort of thing, and try to suss it all together.
Right. But maybe down the road, we can elaborate a little bit more at a time and get more information about them and make it a little bit more in depth.
So for now, we can say we know for sure that they've been shown. They were extremely popular, domestic mallards, being shown during the 1920s, which was less than 10 years after the Migratory Wild Bird Treaty Act was put in place. And we know that they are still popular show birds.
I mean, not to mention the people that do, like we said, get them and realize they don't want them and just put them back out in the wild.
That happens to far too many waterfowl.
It is unfair to them because they are not bred to, they're not wild. They don't have those wild instincts.
Right.
So once they're bred for being domestic, they stay that way. It's not fair to the birds just to put them in a pond and say they will be okay.
Right.
Knowing and growing up with the wild ones, even the wild ones began to learn a pattern that if they come to your house at a certain time, they're going to get food, they're going to get this, they're going to get that.
My question to that is, are we sure we weren't dealing with hybrid mallards?
We're not sure. I mean,
possible.
we lived all around the water.
Yeah,
so whatever, we don't know, but there's no given time that I can ever remember my growing up in the row home that I grew in that we did not have mallards in our yard.
Well,
all
you
the
guys had
time.
Streams really close, and we were right on the water, so they were everywhere. They were some of the most common birds we ever saw.
And you usually only saw the female, or you would see just the couple occasionally. They would come together.
Yeah.
But, they knew. So being domesticated, they know even more. How would they know to be wild and do the wild things? They really don't. I mean, it's kind of unfair to those animals.
I agree. Yeah.
It's very sad. So let's go into what they kind of look like, because like you were saying earlier, the domestic mallards are considered to be bantams, okay? Because they're pretty small. Now, the standard of perfection calls for the drakes to weigh 2.25 to 2.5 pounds. So 2.25 to 2.5 pounds. That's the boy.
That's a little boy, yeah.
And the hens to weigh 1.9 to 2.25 pounds. I never even thought about them being bantams, the mallards.
No, you wouldn't. I mean, I think if we saw them now, like really close up, like we did when we were kids, we'd probably be like, that's not a really big duck.
And as your kid, everything looks bigger because you're a kid. So exactly. So
that's why kids are terrorized by geese.
They're huge, man. They're
big.
Huge. So mallards come in 2 different color varieties that are APA accepted. That's the gray, like we said, and the snowy. Now, the gray drakes are green-headed, ring-necked, gray and brown bodied birds that we see everywhere. Okay, so the duck hens are the dark brown and buff laced with a single dark eye stripe. They're very distinct. When you see them, you can tell the difference between the drake and the hen. There is no mistaking it. They look like 2 different birds.
They're very different. Sexually dimorphic, we would call that.
Exactly. So let's see this. They have orange legs, but the darker orange legs are on the drake. Okay. So drakes also have a yellow bill, while the female bill is a dark orange, mostly covered by brown. So when you think of this and when you look them up, you'll see that they look entirely different. Now, the snowy mallards are essentially a very frosted version of the gray. It's the same colorway as the snowy call ducks. Okay. Now, the non-APA colors include white, golden, and pastel.
Which I think also are all in call duck.
Yeah. They're all around the same kind of color pattern. It
goes back to the theory that I've seen from several duck people that call ducks are just a mutation of mallards.
Yeah.
And it makes sense in a lot of ways.
Yeah. But I felt like when we saw the call ducks in Ohio, they seem smaller than the mallard to me. Maybe I'm thinking, yeah.
No, they're smaller.
Okay, so the mallard duck hens are decent layers of blue, green, or white eggs. Now, we've always said this with ducks. It's a surprise. It's a grab bag what color egg you're going to get from each duck. So, you could cross your fingers. Is it going to be blue or green or white, whatever you would like. Now, depending on the bloodlines, you may get anywhere from 50 to around 100 eggs per year. They will go broody sometimes twice a year and are very happy to hatch and raise a clutch of ducklings. Good and bad in some cases.
Right. It can be. I mean, it's a very useful skill to have in a lot of circumstances, but it's going to cut into her egg laying if you have her for egg laying.
And it's always during the summer and the really hot times when you don't want them to be broody.
Would you believe that as cold as it was today, one of the Dorkings was in the nest box throwing feathers on her back?
Good luck this summer.
I know. I said, I am going to lose my mind. Anyway.
I mean, broodiness is, I have to say, it's one of the most frustrating things. If you don't want to hatch any chickens, it's frustrating because you're like, please, you're in a hot coop. So knowing that these do potentially go broody, just, you might have to break a brood.
Right.
Now, domestic mallards are generally kept for show and as pets.
Are sometimes used as table birds, but many consider other breeds much better in that respect. I mean, they're small ducks.
Yeah, they're little ducks, and there are bigger ducks that people use for table birds.
These beautiful little ducks will fly. They will fly. In fact, they're in the McMurray category as flying mallards because they want people to know this bird flies.
Exactly. Now, if you free range them and you're even supervising them and they start to get some air under those wings, you can run as fast as you can. You might not catch them.
It's a small duck with flying power. I mean, apparently they'll fly in short bursts at about 10 to 12 weeks.
I mean, you could say to yourself, go gadget umbrella. It's not going to help.
By the time they're about 16 weeks, they are like fully flying. So I don't know if I'm going to end up with any mallards or not, but there will be a top on my run. There is a top on the run that's going to be the duck run.
Yeah, I mean, every run we always say should have a top on it anyway, but this is like, if you have them out, I'll tell a quick story of the other morning when we were on the phone and I decided to let Lucy walk around for like 5 minutes.
Yep.
And I basically screamed to you, I gotta go. And the girl took off and basically ran faster than lightning towards the big evergreen trees.
She's like, I'm out of here, lady. I'm out of here. I'm tired of being in that pop-up. I'm gone.
I know. And I was like, holy moly. And I got her. But that's what a duck can do to you quick. You gotta be careful. That's for sure.
They are reasonably cold hardy and they can handle heat well if they have sufficient water. And this is just something to think about. Mallards are apparently one of the breeds that are not happy without swimming water. It is extremely important for their health and their well-being. It's essential for their quality of life. So if you can't give them swimming water access, you might want to pick another breed, maybe.
I mean, think about it this way. Everybody's cooler in a pool. Okay. So
that sums it up, doesn't it? Everybody's cooler in a pool.
So, they can take the heat if they can go swim and cool off because you have cool water. It's going to bring your body temperature down.
Right.
So here's the part. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say there are 1,000 reasons why they need water for their health and happiness.
Now, everybody right now is like, where do I get this mallard? Because I want some. And where should everybody go?
You can get mallards from Murray McMurray Hatchery, and you can get mallards from Metzer Farms.
Now, here's the part of the show where I say, if you have mallards, send us your pictures in a story. Do a story, hit the mention button, type in our name, and that way I can easily reshare the story to our stories. We want to share your birds. We love
seeing them. My friend Karen has a mallard. She lays green eggs.
Ooh.
Really pretty. Yeah.
Does she serve it with ham?
Probably. Green eggs and ham coming right up.
Exactly.
Are you ready to dive into the fascinating world of backyard ducks? Look no further than Metzer Farms, your premier destination for top quality waterfowl. Whether you're a seasoned breeder or just starting out, Metzer Farms has everything you need to elevate your flock to the next level. And if you're passionate about call ducks, you're in for a treat.
Metzer Farms hatches a stunning variety of call ducks, meticulously bred for their miniature size, beauty, and calm temperament. From snowy whites to vibrant colors, each duck is a masterpiece waiting to grace your backyard. Visit MetzerFarms.com today to browse their extensive selection and start your journey into the wonderful world of waterfowl. Metzer Farms, where passion meets perfection.
If you're looking for a chicken coop that's produced in a planet-friendly, sustainable way, try Nestera.
Each coop is made from highly durable, 100% recycled plastic that keeps the equivalent of up to 2,000 shampoo bottles out of a landfill.
Their clean, modern design will fit into any garden or run area and comes with an industry-beating 25-year warranty and a range of handy accessories.
Simple to put together, so quick and easy to clean, and most importantly, red mite resistant. Your chickens will love it.
Quick shipping from Nestera US.
For a 5% discount, use the affiliate link in our show notes, on our website, and on Instagram. Link in bio. Check them out today. Roosty's proudly sponsors Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. They're back with an innovative new product. You're going to want to check this out.
It's an extra large set, a 14-pound feeder in 3-gallon water with steep anti-roost lids. They're made of super durable material. You can either stand them on legs or hang them on brackets on your coop or fence. They're easy to remove and clean too. Plus, they look awesome.
We personally use Roosties and we're huge fans. So if you're raising chicks or keeping chickens, check out the Roosty store on Amazon or follow the link in our show notes.
Okay. So are we ready to move on to main topic? Yeah.
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 This week, we are thrilled to have Marc and Katy Metzer back with us of Metzer Farms. Marc and Katy, welcome back to the show.
Thank you. We're happy to be back.
We're happy to see your beautiful faces on our screen. It's so good to see you. How are things going over there?
Well, it's the new year. We're excited. Lots planned for 2025. Things are going well. Yeah.
Great. So we want to catch up with you. We want to talk about some new things for 2025. Can you start us off telling us about, you have a new color variety for your runner ducks. Can you tell us about that? They're gorgeous.
Yes, I'll share about that because I'm really excited. We have the silver runner that is coming out. And so we had been offering the chocolate, the black, the blue, and the fawn and white. And we've been hatching. We've had a flock of the silver runners because we use the silver on the black to make a blue. But usually we would only hatch those out when we were hatching out our breeders. And going to the farms and seeing how beautiful they were, I had been asking Marc, can we add them? Can we add them? And so I'm calling it a wife win that I just kind of kept asking. And now we get to have silver runners. So we sent them out last year to some of our customers as part of the runner duck assortment where we pick the color, and we have gotten really good feedback so far. So the silver runner has kind of a white, light gray body with a dark beak, and it's a fun looking bird. Are you excited?
Yeah, I'm super excited.
I'm not surprised that Katie's excited because last time she was on, she said her favorite breed of duck, they were the runners. So getting a new color variety, it should be called Katie's Silver Runners.
You got it.
I like that. I like it. You got to do that.
I think they're really striking, with the silver and the dark bill. It reminds me a little bit of the Welsh Harlequin. You know how you have all the frosty color and the dark bill? I just think they're really, really pretty.
Mm-hmm.
How is the laying for the runners?
I would say the runners are good layers. They have not as many eggs per year as the ones that are known for that, like the Golden 300, the white layer, and the Khaki Campbell. But I'd say they're next after that. The
Nice.
thing that really sets the runners apart is their foraging ability. Because they have that slender, upright stance, they're great to have in your garden to help with eating slugs or snails or bugs that might be pests. And so there's a few different flower gardeners and wineries that use the runner ducks as a natural pest control instead of
Permaculture. There you go. I mean, at its finest. And why would you not want to be at a winery watching a runner duck? Like the more wine you drink, you're like, they're running faster now, man. Come on. They're going faster.
And the runners, they aren't all exactly the same as each other than color. They do have different attributes because the chocolate runner, for instance, is our best hatching duck. Out of all the runners, the chocolate runner consistently, we have the best hatch rate. The time it takes them in the incubator before they hatch is different too. The fawn and white runner seems to hatch the soonest, and then the other ones lag behind. So there's interesting little differences about the runners. And we take all that into account when we set the eggs. We predict a different amount to hatch based on what color it is. And then we actually set the eggs at different times based on what color it is so that they all cross that finish line of hatching at the same time.
Oh, wow. That's interesting.
That's so cool. I love that. And the fact that they lay different numbers of eggs being the same breed, just different variety. That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now, see.
No, Holly's wheels are turning over there.
He knows where it's going because I'm a serious gardener. I can see the runner ducks. I mean, they're pretty cute. I just totally lost my train of thought. I got to.
Well, and different of them have different amounts of green or blue eggs. And we have a chart on our website that tells the percentage of colored egg for each runner. And so they don't all say the same.
I'm going to link that in the show notes because that's super cool. I mean,
how would they do in a 5K?
Better than I would.
Chris, you derailed me once again. Okay. Whatever I had to say was not that important because it's gone. Okay. So that's the runners.
It'll come back.
Yeah, tonight. From a personal standpoint, I'm still really interested in bantam ducks. Like with not having a lot of space, I really like the idea of the bantams. So tell us what's going on with your bantams this year, please.
Okay, bantams. Well, we've continued to increase our call duck flocks because we're super excited about them and people are starting to learn about them and see how really cool and cute and fun and such a great pet they are. So we've got 7 different colors of the call ducks. And in addition, we added the Australian spotted this year. And so the Australian spotted has 3 different colors and we don't specify what color. We mix them all together. And so they get one of the 3 colors of Australian spotted. And, if somebody were to order 5 Australian spotted, we would try to do our best to give them a little bit of each color. But those are really exciting. They're very similar to a call duck. The main difference is the amount of noise they produce. They are not loud quackers like a call duck. So they're a lot calmer. Well, not calmer. They're quieter than a call duck. And so that seems to be something that people really enjoy. They are critically endangered in the Livestock Conservancy list. And so we're really bolstering up the flock with that and hoping to spread the genetics to families and farmers throughout the country. And something that we're really excited about is anytime we sell an Australian spotted, we're donating $5 to the Livestock Conservancy because they were vital in helping us acquire this breed and start to grow it and expand it.
That's fantastic. They're such a great organization. Chris, what were you going to say?
I love it. I read that and I instantly was like, I love how you're giving back and showing the community and everybody that you care about this bird. And I love the fact that they're a variety of the bantam, so they're little too. And they really like their cheese and quackers, but they...
You with those puns.
So I was doing some research on the Australian spotted. So I want to talk a little bit about the color variety because I think that's super cool. And Mark, correct me if I get this wrong. They have 3 different color varieties. And this is like for the drakes, right? The drake's head color.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Blue, green, and silver.
Yeah.
But they can all interbreed.
Yeah, that's the awesome part. It makes it so much easier. So we don't have to keep them completely separate to hold the integrity of the color. So if they crossbreed, they're not going to be half one color, half the other. They're always going to breed true to the colors.
I love it. That's amazing. I love the fact that you're bringing this new little bird in to the call duck, bantam duck family, and they're different and they're in need of help. This is one thing that we love with this podcast is helping these birds that need it. And you're right on board with us. The $5 to the Livestock Conservancy is going to go so far for every bird. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, I really enjoy the Livestock Conservancy and what they do and the information they put out and everything that they do, whether it's ducks, poultry, turkeys, or cows or pigs and all that stuff. So I really enjoy what they do. So I enjoy supporting them.
They're fantastic. The genetics for the Australian Spotted is fascinating. That's just a really neat little genetic quirk there. Are there any other breeds of duck like that?
I'm not aware of any, but there might be out there. We haven't found them yet.
What about the call ducks? What about the blue and the black call ducks? Because
Well, the blue and the black call ducks, I think, would be more like, well, because the runner ducks. So runner ducks, if you breed blue on blue, you're going to get a certain percentage of black, certain percentage blue, certain percentage of silver, and you're not going to get a half blue, half silver duck. So there is the similarity of that. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. I remember what I was going to ask about the runner ducks, because you always see photos of them like running around, foraging, whatever. This is so stupid, but do they swim like other ducks, like normal? Like if they're swimming, do they look like other ducks?
Yeah. I think they're just a little bit slendier.
slender, more slender.
No,
That word. That is a me word.
slendier. No, that's a new
love
word.
it. I love it.
Slendier.
I love slendier. I am going to use that from now
on.
on.
It was on Wordle the other day. It's for real. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, they just like they run underwater and you just see their heads up, like sticking up.
Well, obviously they swim. They're not underwater, Chrissy. I honestly, this is my duck ignorance. I've never seen like photos of runners swimming.
We have a lot of great customers who create videos and things to share with us for our social media. And I'll send you a few because we have some cute videos of ducks swimming around on ponds, runner ducks in specific, swimming around on ponds. And they do look pretty similar.
Please, I would love to see them. Thank you. Okay, that's that cleared up. I mean, I'm completely ignorant about them. We did do a spotlight for the runner duck.
We did.
They've got a really interesting history, but anyway. So back to the call ducks. You said you have 7 different colors of call ducks?
Yeah.
Wow.
I could name them, but I might miss a
Let's
few.
do it. Let's do it.
Okay, so I will say I'm out of practice because we just started hatching them again. We were off a season for about 2 months, weren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we got the black, the blue, the pencil, the white, the gray, the
Pastel.
Did I already say pencil?
You already said
You said pencil, yeah.
You have a snowy?
Snowy. Yeah.
That's the 7th. You got it.
Nice.
It's like the 7 dwarfs, but 7 call ducks. I don't know. I just full of the mom jokes today. I don't know
You
why.
are. The only reason I know about the snowy is because I just wrote a breed spotlight for the domestic mallard, and they have a gray. And in the actual standard of perfection, it says the snowy is the same colorway as the snowy call duck.
Oh, the snowy mallard.
Yes. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
I said that
Yeah.
confusingly.
No, I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the gray call duck would look just like the mallard. The gray call duck has a similar color of the snow.
Okay, great.
Yeah. It would be kind of cool to see a gray call duck, a gray mallard, and a ruin all kind of standing next to each other because I think they all would have the same color scheme, just different sizes.
That would be very cool.
That would be cool.
So what do you guys have coming up this year? Any shows, any events, any places people can see you and get your catalog and hear more about ducks and geese?
Actually, yeah, we've got a lot coming up in January. We're going to be going to the American Pasture Poultry Producers Association conference. That one's a lot of fun because these farmers get together and share a lot of their tips and tricks and trade secrets of things that help them to be successful at their homestead or their farm. And the environment there is very collaborative and just a lot of good energy. So that's a fun one to go to. We're going to be and that's in Allen, Texas. We're going to be at IPPE. What does that stand for? International
Poultry Producers Expo. That is in Atlanta. That is big commercial poultry companies going there from all over the world. It's something that we like to go to every several years. They don't really cater to smaller farms, hatcheries like us, but it's good to just walk the floor and kind of get ideas of what's out there and what can you do, any opportunities to change things or upgrade things, or, it could be equipment or different breeds out there, different ideas for taking care of birds. So that's just good to go to and kind of see what's new out there. And then we have Cooptastic. And Cooptastic is on...
I think it's April 5th, that weekend, the first weekend in April.
Okay.
Fantastic. We're all going to be there. We're going to be there together. You guys want to come hang out with all of us?
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Come
We want
out and
everybody
see
to be
us.
there.
I know.
It's a really good event. There's a lot of good speakers. Are you speaking this year, Mark?
Yes, I am. And it's a topic that I can't remember what it is.
You know something about waterfowl.
You know we will be your cheering section.
Yeah.
So, everybody, if you're not in Alabama in April with us, you're missing out. You got to be there. It's a fun weekend. We're all going to be together there. So come out and join us.
Anything going on with geese this year? Any new offerings? Anything?
No new offerings on geese. This year, we are holding back some of our breeders to keep for ourselves. So some of the Sebastopol, large dewlap, Toulouse, Sebastopol, and Super African, we're going to reduce the amount of birds we're selling this year just to keep more females for ourselves. And that's just because the demand's so high. And we've always had a trouble balancing of getting people the birds that they want versus trying to hold back some to increase our flock. Mm-hmm. And I don't think we've done a good job making that balance because we never keep as many breeders as we need to. And so this year we just said, you know what, we're going to keep the majority of the females that we hatch and raise those out so that, yeah, less will sell this year, but the plan is future years, more people can have access to them.
And one of the things we're doing with those breeders is putting them out across several different farms and different locations just to try to protect those genetics and maintain that availability.
So the great news there is we can't have Sebastopols this year, but next year, 2026, they're going to be a lot more available and they're so hard to get.
Yes, and we will be selling the males. So if you're not picky about that, we will have males available. Because
do the males still have the really beautiful feathering? Are they the same? Do they look the same as the females?
Yes, 100%.
They do.
Wonderful.
And if somebody wanted to get a pair where they had a male and a female goose, you could have a male Sebastopol to get that body structure and the beautiful feathers, and then have a female of another breed that we are offering. So it's kind of a short-term bummer for some people to not get females of those breeds. But the goal is that for future seasons and years, we can offer more.
That's fantastic. I mean, that's what needs to be done. There are not enough geese in this world. There need to be more.
Yeah, you like your 3, don't you?
I'm obsessed with them. The buffs are sweet as pie, but the French Toulouse, she's all bossy attitude, and I love her to bits. I can't get enough of her. That's mama's girl. I love that goose.
On that note, I want to turn it around to a little bit of a serious part because there have been some things floating around lately, and we want to address avian influenza. And you had a few things that you wanted to say to everybody regarding this topic.
So about a month ago, one of our farms in California got hit by avian influenza. So that was really tough, something that nobody should ever have to deal with, but it is something that we had to go through. It was tough on us, tough on our employees, tough on everybody, but it's not affecting our availability this coming year because we've had plans to reduce our risk if something like that was ever to happen. That includes having multiple farms in multiple states so that every breed that we have would be spread across different farms. So if one farm got hit, we wouldn't lose the genetics on any one breed. And then we have hatcheries in Tennessee and in California. So we could always move eggs from one location to the other to hatch and ship. And so by having those plans, we have available now for ducks and geese in 2025. And so it's something that was really unfortunate and we've learned from, but we'll be fine for 2025 and have availability.
Yeah, I mean, you have 100% availability for anybody coming in there and wanting all the poultry that they want. Geese, ducks, turkeys are going to be in the catalog this year. Yep. So everyone, don't be afraid. You're going to be able to still get everything that you want from Metzer Farms. And you guys are amazing. You have the plans in place already for if this were to happen. That's the smart thing to do.
Yeah. A lot of people are going that way of diversifying their flocks, lots of little farms throughout the country. And I mean, our plans paid off and we'll be okay. And one thing that's interesting is at the beginning of the year, we put our projected egg set of how many we think we're going to set in the incubator every week for all of next year. And we always estimate low before the birds start laying eggs. And so we did the same thing. We estimated low. We got hit by AI. We actually didn't have to go back and lower our egg numbers anymore. We had already estimated low enough that we're not having to already dig ourselves out of a hole. So we're just moving forward with our initial egg estimate. And I predict once all of our ducks and geese come into production, we'll actually be able to raise it a little bit more and open up more availability for geese and ducks. And turkey availability is out there. We have 4 standard bred turkeys: Narragansett, black, bronze, and slate. They're all natural mating. So
all of Holly's favorites.
yeah,
Beautiful.
yeah. Those we're super excited about. We're going to start hatching those in about a month and a half. And so, yeah, we're super excited about 2025.
That sounds great. We have a lot of resources available, listeners, for avian influenza information, including the amazing Dr. Yuko Sato. So check the show notes for links to those episodes. If you've not visited Metzer Farms' website before, head there now.
That website is a destination.
Thank you.
I love the fact that you have everything categorized, how to teach people how to do the things with the poultry once they get them. Your website is amazing for educating. So if you're thinking about you're just starting, first step, go to Metzer's website because you're going to learn a lot there.
And a lot of that is built up over several years by Mark's dad, John, doing a really good job of sharing his knowledge and his expertise and experience with raising poultry. And there's a blog on there where you can go and read all kinds of different articles that we try to come up with. What are frequently asked questions that our customers have? What are resources for brooding that we can share so that when somebody does get their birds in the mail, they're feeling prepared. So
You had a really great blog post up recently about ducks and the cold. I thought that was super informative and useful. Anything else you want someone to know? If we have a lot of listeners who are interested in waterfowl this year, if there's anyone on the fence, what do you want them to know about keeping ducks and geese or turkeys?
It's the most fun you'll ever have, and you won't regret it for a minute.
Perfect.
I love that.
I'm convinced. I'm convinced now.
Now, the other thing, Katie was talking about brooding the ducklings and everything. We did an episode with you guys where we talked about that. Holly Ann, can we put a link to that in the show notes too?
Absolutely.
So if anybody wants to go back and re-listen, it was a 2-part episode where we talk about all the care that you need with you guys last year. I believe we did this one.
The breed spotlight for that episode is called Ducks. It's really a fun episode.
That was a really fun episode. So yeah, we just want to thank you guys for coming on and giving us an update on Metzer Farms. We're excited for you guys. There's so many exciting things coming up and all the different ducks and everything. Wow. I can't wait to see them all. Can't wait. And you have a catalog that's going to be coming out soon, right?
Yeah, I think it already got printed and it's hitting the mail right now. So you can sign up for the catalog there. It's a free catalog. We'll ship it out to you and you could put it on your coffee table and browse through it and let your visitors browse through it too.
Fantastic.
Sounds good. We'll talk to you guys soon.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
We just want to thank Marc and Katy one more time for taking some time out of their busy schedule to catch up with us. So excited about ducks.
So excited about Metzer Farms in 2025.
And ducks.
Love you guys.
We do love you. And ducks.
Yes.
Our friends at Good Eggs solved the age-old question of how should I wash my eggs?
They're chicken people just like us who created the original silicone egg scrubber.
Both Chrissy and I use their brush and natural enzyme wash every time.
It's a total game changer.
It makes cleaning eggs so much faster and easier. Plus, they have a lifetime guarantee.
Good Egg is a small family business right here in the U.S., and they donate 10% of all profit directly to folks affected by cancer.
Go check them out at goodeggstuff.co.
That's goodeggstuff.co. Tell them Chrisie&Holly sent you.
Okay. So let's move on to
Cracking the eggs.
cracking those eggs. Now, today we're going to do one that is quite popular, especially with the younger generation, but also everybody. And it's been more of a convenient food. Now you can make these at home and then just reheat them and save yourself some buku bucks.
These are the Starbucks style egg bites. Now, when you wanted to do this recipe, I was like, oh, sure, it's probably just easy peasy. But apparently Starbucks has a special ingredient.
Yes, they do. The star of the show.
So the special ingredient is full fat cottage cheese.
So while these are healthy, let's pour in the full fat cottage cheese in there.
Now, here's the bad news. We did not find a good way to make these non-dairy. So our solution was just to leave out the cottage cheese and add some water, which helps make things fluffy when you scramble it. And you're going to whisk the eggs longer. You're going to whisk them until they're extra frothy.
And that will help them. That's for sure.
Yep.
Now, you can make these any size you want, like muffin size, mini muffin size, but generally they're pretty small. So,
yeah, if you want micro bites, then you want mini.
Right. And I think that's how Starbucks serves them, is like the mini
I couldn't
bites.
tell from the photos. So this one either makes 12 standard muffin size or 24 minis.
And I like this for Sundays to make for the week so that your kids or you, once you make them, and if you make them small, you're heating them up for 15, 20 seconds and you have breakfast that's healthy.
Yep.
So let's go through. We're starting to get eggs again a little bit. So that's
getting a lot of eggs.
So let's go through our ingredients. Right now it's 8 large eggs, 1 cup full fat cottage cheese. Now, like we said, you leave it out for dairy free. And you add the water and do some extra whisking. 1 cup of shredded cheese of your choice, whatever flavor you're feeling like. 1/3 cup of black olives, sliced or chopped. 1 small handful of baby spinach, rolled and sliced into ribbons. 1/2 teaspoon of dried dill. 1/4 teaspoon of dried oregano. 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Another 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. Pepper.
I think it was supposed to be black or white pepper, but it's pepper.
2 cups of cherry tomatoes, halved. 1 medium cucumber, peeled and cut into cubes or small chunks. 1/2 of a red onion, very thinly sliced. Olive oil and red wine vinegar for vinaigrette. And your optional is crumbled feta cheese, which does come in a dairy-free version, I believe.
Yeah, you can get it dairy-free. The reason we didn't put the feta in the egg bites, and you can actually put it in the egg bites if you're doing dairy-free, but the reason we didn't put it in the egg bites with the cottage cheese is because the cottage cheese is already tangy.
Yeah, I think that would be a really good thing to put in if you need it dairy-free.
Yeah.
Get the dairy-free feta instead of the cottage cheese, because even the texture's kind of the same a little bit. So it might, it might work.
I have the feta on here for the dairy eaters to put in the salad if they want to, because it's just a really simple salad. You're going to generously grease whatever size muffin tin you want to use. And then you're going to preheat your oven to 325. It's a low bake, probably to keep the eggs cooking slowly.
Exactly.
In a medium-sized mixing bowl, you're going to crack and whisk 8 large eggs. Add in the olives, cottage cheese, shredded cheese, your herbs, your salt, and your pepper. Mix it all together to combine. Now, if you want the egg bites to be smooth without a lot of texture, you're going to whiz them in a blender or a food processor to your desired smoothness. Again, for dairy-free, you're going to whisk these eggs together until they're thick and pretty frothy. You're going to fill your muffin cups with the egg mixture. These bake for like 20 to 25 minutes, and that 5 minutes is kind of a big time range. But this really depends on your oven. Yeah. Like if your oven runs hot, check at 20 minutes, because these will go from perfect to rubbery very quickly.
Exactly.
You can use a toothpick to check for doneness or a cake tester. It should come out of the egg bite clean. Now you're going to let these cool for just a couple of minutes, then remove them from the muffin pan. Don't let them cool completely in the pan because they will stick if you do.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
The salad is easy peasy. Just mix all the ingredients in a medium-sized bowl, add salt and pepper to taste, drizzle your red wine vinegar and your olive oil over it, toss it together, serve the salad as a side to your egg bites, and enjoy.
It's great. Now, like I said, these are great little bites to give your kids on the way out to school or yourself on the way to work so that you can have good, healthy protein in the morning. It's the most important meal of the day or all day. lunch.
How much do they cost at the coffee shop?
They're not cheap. They're like
Really?
$4 or $5 for like a few of them.
Oh yeah, you can whip that up pretty. If you have your own eggs, you can whip that up no problem.
Yeah, exactly. And if you just put them in a container and then every day you have them there, that's a good Sunday thing to do with your kids. Make these up, save them for during the week, that kind of thing. It works really well. So,
as always, we did these with the Greek flavors, but you can change it up.
we love the Greek and the Mediterranean flavors, and they're healthy for you. So, you can't go wrong. It brings a lot of flavor in and not a lot of calories and stuff like that.
Good stuff.
Try it. You might like it. Let us know what you think. See if it saves you some money. It might.
It might.
Okay, so let's move on to retail therapy. Retail therapy. Yeah. This week's retail therapy, we're looking at some duck dinnerware. We want to see, can you get it?
Of course you can get it. I mean, 1980s was the heyday of the country duck and goose.
Oh, heck yeah.
So at the very least, you can find 1980s stuff.
Now, when we're talking about 1980s duck and goose, it's always going to be the blue, like with the white duck and the blue bow.
Ribbon. Yeah.
Yeah, all that stuff. That style was huge.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, if you go on your phone and you start looking at reels, and there are a million reels of people thrifting and showing you what they're looking for. They're looking for this stuff right now. It is hot. The 80s duck, white duck, and goose line is what everybody wants in their kitchen. Kind of like a few years ago, the Mary mushrooms from Sears and Roebuck were super hot. They're still hot.
They're still hot.
Now it's the goose. And so,
or the duck.
Or the duck. And you can find this stuff all over eBay, all over Etsy.
I want to start with this is one of my absolute favorite patterns, and this is an investment. These are not cheap. If you find them thrifting, grab them because you are super lucky. That is the Spode Woodland collection.
Okay.
I mean, the dinner plates usually sell for about $40 a piece.
Oh, yeah.
But they're beautiful. They have mallards. They have pintails. They have wood ducks. Maybe they have teals. I know they have snow geese, Canada geese, and other shorebirds like the lapwing. I love these. I love using these in the fall. They're perfect for Thanksgiving. Like I said, they're an investment, but they're beautiful.
Oh, yeah, definitely. So I'm looking for mine right now. Because I kind of like the 80s style. I know it seems like it's
kitschy country and it's fun.
It's what everybody back in the day called, they were country. It was the white.
It was country, that's right.
The white duck with the blue ribbon. And if you look through, I just found one. There it is. The duck with the polka dots, the white polka dotted bow around the neck. And
who's the maker?
I'm looking that up right now to see.
Well, while you're looking, I will say that California Pottery has some really cute mid-century modern duck stuff.
Oh, yeah. California Pottery you can't go wrong with. Right. That's for sure. You know what, though? I feel like looking through everything that I've been looking through, I feel like there's way more chicken stuff than duck and goose, though.
There is.
That's for sure.
There's way more chicken, and then I'd say duck is second and goose is probably third.
I don't know. I feel like goose is kind of more prevalent than the ducks.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't know why.
I'm not sure either, but I mean, maybe you're right.
Aunt Rhody Goose Dinnerware, vintage 1990s.
Fun.
And I have to say, out of all the duck stuff that I'm seeing on here, that is my all-time favorite because it just is. We were 80s kids. It's just so nostalgic. It takes us back. I believe my mom had some of these.
Oh,
she probably still does.
She might.
And I'm going to be like, Mom, where is this stuff? I need it. I need to see it. So, yeah, I think she went through a duck and goose phase when that all came out.
I think a lot of people did. My mom didn't, but
I think we had some of that.
I'm trying to find a couple of the brands for...
I'm telling you, when you look up chicken stuff, it's so much easier to find than the ducks.
Well, here's some, but it's just listed. The manufacturer isn't mentioned. It's listed under Granny Core. Thanks for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Granny Core.
So there's all these reels out there and people talking about things you never leave behind at the thrift. And
Okay.
I'm going to say that the white duck and goose from the 80s is that. You do not leave that behind right now.
But even like 2 years ago, there were tons of them. I mean, they were everywhere.
And it was a leave behind. Nobody wanted it then.
No.
Now all of a sudden it's hot and you don't leave it behind. They had everything with that stuff. They had the whole kitchen decorations, everything.
Oh yeah, valances on the windows, utensil holders, whatever. It was all.
Exactly. And it was
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say it was usually like Sears or our favorite down the road, Ames. I feel like they always had that stuff in there.
It's true. Here, like the brands are not the ones I'm expecting to see. Like this is a brand Marguerite, and you saw Aunt Rhody.
Yeah.
And maybe they were just like the manufacturers that the big department stores were using.
I don't see a lot of big time names on them. Now, we can mention this before we stop talking about this, but I feel like there's a resurgence in that style that's being made today. So you may find something that is made right now that is made to look like the 80s goose or duck or back mid-century and how those dishes looked.
Well,
so if you find it, don't leave it.
Plates right now. I mean, and usually they're on dinner plates, but sometimes you can find full sets. But even though this is not on topic, the other thing to look for those country ducks and geese is drinkware.
Oh, you know I'm obsessed with glassware.
Me too.
It's the way I don't know why I never leave it behind if I like it. So that's the way to go. Definitely.
Yeah, that's fun.
So should we tell everybody what we're going to be talking about next week?
Next week, we are spotlighting one of the #1 all-time most popular chickens on the planet,
Drum roll, please. Da, 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 da.
the Orpington.
Woohoo! Yeah.
This is going to be super fun. Fiona won't be with us next week. Instead, we have Hugh, Mr. Floof, joining us.
Mr. Floof, we can't wait to have you on.
Hugh's great fun. So we're going to be talking about coop maintenance, but Hugh is also going to share one of his homemade wine recipes with us.
I cannot wait because I want to drink. I want to make this wine.
Right?
Definitely.
Definitely. Cracking the eggs. We're doing Italian egg drop soup.
Love
Can't
it.
go wrong with that. And retail therapy, I think, is a surprise.
It's a surprise.
We don't know what it is either.
If you have a suggestion, message us on Instagram and give us your suggestions for a retail therapy for next week. And who knows, we may pick yours.
Yours might be the only one. We really may pick it.
So what should we tell everybody to do until next week?
Hug your chickens, ducks, and geese.
Every day and kiss them too. We'll talk to you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
If you'd like to see more of us, please follow us on Instagram at Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. If you'd like to help us grow the podcast, please leave us a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you'd like to become a patron of the show, please visit our Patreon page, patreon.com/Coffee with the Chicken Ladies. Thanks for listening.